Welcome, everyone. We are the Uneducated Gamers podcast presented by GalaxyGameTV.com. In today's episode, we will discuss Microsoft's pending purchase of Activision Blizzard and provide our most uneducated thoughts. Joe,
Chris.
Welcome in, buddy.
Hey, dude. How's it going?
How's it going?
I just asked you that. It's fine.
It's going.
Wow, I'm very excited about tonight's topic because there might be a time in the near-ish future where I can go a week without hearing Bobby fucking Kotick's name.
Are you? I know. And we'll get to that. But man, this is probably a lot of people were first shocked and amazed and
Dismayed.
confused and didn't understand this move because of a lot of things that have happened.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I did not. You messaged me this in the morning before I'd even gotten on Reddit. And I was just like, what's going on here? You're like, Microsoft's buying Activision Blizzard? I'm just like, what? They just came out of fucking nowhere, for me at least. Did you have any inkling about this?
No. And I mean, like, again, I have industry insiders, right? Like
Yeah.
I have people that I talk to on a regular basis. This came out of nowhere. Like
Right?
Nobody knew this was happening. And this is coming off the heels of a long range of, sexual misconduct, harassment, gender discrimination, issues at Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
And a lot of this, stems from Bobby Kotick, right? Like you, as you mentioned,
Right.
his name, that basically he knew about all the different allegations and really didn't notify or act on it to the company's board of directors. And it's just like,
Yeah, or shareholders, anything. He just kind of basically swept a lot of things underneath the rug. And, some of these things were probably going on before Activision took over Blizzard, because I can't see how they wouldn't have been, which does kind of paint some of, the founders a little differently for me. But just the mere fact that how severe a lot of the, like sexual harassment claims, the fraternity lifestyle that they were building up, or not building up, but I mean, like the culture in general, at Blizzard, and just the audacity of this dude to just be like, I'm going to do nothing and act like that's okay. Like, I don't get it. I mean,
yeah,
to me,
it's disgusting.
This dude's a real piece of shit.
He's just disgusting. It's completely disgusting and here's one of the things, and before we start getting into this acquisition, because I think this is a very important piece to sort of start this topic out, is, this is how really the industry has been starting to kind of get a black eye with all of these really unfortunate, disturbing characters who make a ton of freaking money, can and sit on their ivory tower and lay off people. They had like a crap ton of layoffs, and the dude freaking, cleared, $120 million in salary. It's just like, what in the shit, dude?
It's insane. I mean, it feels like it reminds me of, as a 37 going on 38-year-old, like the 2008 financial crisis. I mean, okay, granted, walk with me here for a second. And this is a little bit of a offshoot, but I just remember just like really just jumping into paying attention to politics in the world and how our country works and everything. And during the 2008 crisis, hearing all these people just losing their jobs overnight and the economy crashing. And then all these CEOs are just walking away with millions and millions and millions of dollars in their golden fucking parachute.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is what this guy is going to get, is a golden fucking parachute.
Yeah. And we'll get to that in a minute. But the one thing before we get into the information behind this merger, because I think acquisition. What is interesting to me is several months back, right, when this all started coming to a head at Activision Blizzard around Kotick, right? Phil Spencer spoke out like very, very strongly about he was deeply disturbed about everything that was going on over there, right?
Yeah, it was hard not to be.
And he even mentioned that Xbox was going to reevaluate its relationship with the company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting that not only we go from that to now this of Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. It's a really weird way.
That's a real weird evaluation.
Well, it's a weird way to solve a problem.
It is, but it might be the best way to solve the problem.
Well, this is true. So
I mean,
let's quickly get into some of the stats here, and then we can start opening up this conversation, right?
Open the floodgates, if you will.
So Activision Blizzard, if you haven't heard the news already, go check the internet. It's all over the place now.
Mm-hmm. Hard to miss.
Basically, Microsoft is looking to acquire Activision Blizzard. It's a pending purchase, basically, acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
That's totaling over $68 billion, which makes it the largest acquisition in gaming history. So far. But what's insane about that is it's obtusely larger than anything else, right? Mm-hmm. So the next largest one ever to happen was Take-Two Interactive purchased Zynga for over 12 billion.
Right.
12 billion.
That's a lot.
68 billion.
My God. Well, I mean, thinking of like the IPs that, Activision / Blizzard does have. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's huge.
It's not like they weren't making money over there.
Yeah. I mean, their financials, right? They clear close to 20 billion a year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a huge amount of revenue that comes in with all of that, right?
Sure.
But what I think is interesting, and here's an interesting stat for you, right? This is the 19th video game entity that Microsoft has purchased since 1996. Now, notice I didn't say company. I said entity.
Right, entity. What is the difference between an entity and a company?
So an entity like Activision Blizzard encompasses several companies, right? So Activision Blizzard has, I think it's a total of 6 divisions, subsidiaries.
Subsidiaries?
Yeah. So if people aren't aware, is Activision Blizzard is actually a company that is the parent company of Activision, Blizzard Entertainment, King, another company called Major League Gaming, and then there's Activision Blizzard Studios, which I believe that's the arm that handles like the picture, like the motion pictures.
Yeah.
And then there is the Activision Blizzard Consumer Products Group. Mm-hmm. So it's really, it's 5 companies under the Activision Blizzard arm, but then they're also divided into 3 different business segments, right? So there's Activision Publishing, there's the Blizzard Entertainment, and then there's King, which King is the mobile development.
Right, which is more so Asian countries are huge into mobile gaming.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know anybody in my area or anybody that I've ever, talked to that actually games on a mobile device.
Well, Candy Crush, I mean that serves over, I believe, and I'm going to double check this, but I think they serve over 50 million users on a daily basis.
Sure. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I've just never seen it in the wild. You know what I mean?
So actually I'm wrong. They're close to 380 million.
Oh, in what time frame is that?
That's annual users.
Oh, okay. That's
annual users.
That's like the size of America.
And Candy Crush's revenue in 2020 was $1.1 billion.
I mean, that's an okay amount of money. That's fine. This is fine.
So just the total magnitude of this is just unfathomable, right?
Yeah, it's so much money.
And so here's another stat, and I'm you know me, I'm a stat guy, right?
You are, which is why I'm not interjecting much.
What and I'll finish off with this stat, and then I'll take a pause on stats, and we can have some really interesting conversation. But
sure.
Basically, this deal is an equivalent cumulative amount of money to some of their largest acquisitions, and here's the combination that sort of equals 69 billion. Okay. You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to start backwards. GitHub, which is one of the largest application delivery or code delivery systems in the world.
Yeah.
It's used everywhere. That was for 7.5 billion. Bethesda was 7.5 billion. This little company called Bethesda.
Yeah, they kind of suck.
Skype at 8.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Nuance, which is it's a technology company basically, for 19.7 billion, and LinkedIn at 26 billion. So all those big companies there, all that, which again basically combines for a tremendous amount of revenue for Microsoft.
Oh, sure.
Was 69 billion.
My God.
So it's just insane of just the sheer magnitude of what they're paying for, and what kind of what that just means for.
Yeah, that's like 69 Kylie Jenners.
I was not expecting that.
I know that one stat about the Kardashians. Sorry.
So, all right. So given all the stats and looking at this from that magnitude, first off, as a gamer, what is that? First off, knowing the Kotick, situation, sure. Microsoft is buying this, and they're investing in it. Like, this is a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
What's your first thoughts when it comes to Activision Blizzard becoming a Microsoft company?
Oh, my initial reaction to it was honestly a little bit of a sigh of relief when I read it, because I don't really have like a favorite company out there. I'm not like a Sony fanboy. I'm not a Microsoft fanboy or anything like that. I'm just kind of I just take things that are in front of me, and I'm just like, okay, I enjoyed that, or I didn't really. I don't try to get too deep into the politics of gaming and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Although it was kind of unavoidable with Blizzard. I mean, it was just one of those things where it was just like, it was like a childhood hero. All of a sudden you find out it's just a complete fucking scumbag. That's growing up with WoW, spending years in that game, coming back to it left and right. I met my wife in WoW, and then just to hear about like all the, big air quotes here, shenanigans going on in the background, and just the terrible way they were treating people. It's like, I know the gaming industry isn't like as fun or, as people, as you think it'd be as an outsider, where you're just like, I'm working on games all day. This is so fun. It's probably one of the worst jobs out there, unless you're in a leadership position, I would say, or creative,
It's certainly one of the most stressful as a game developer.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I hear nightmare stories about crunch time. I mean, in my own profession, I get crunch time and I'm just like, wow, I kind of want to die, and then I hear about the stuff they have to do. And I'm just like, Jesus, what the fuck? How does anybody work and live this way?
Yeah.
But, Microsoft's, I've really heard a lot of bad things about it. So I was just like, this could be good,
I mean, Microsoft's doing it right now, man. Like, I feel like they are doing nothing but just killing it in the gaming industry, right?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that one right now.
They're really committed to making the gaming industry truly something that people want to spend time and invest in.
Yeah,
because
they're making it more accessible.
Yeah, very much so. The introduction to cloud gaming, and yet yes, cloud gaming, it still needs some work. But I think we're on the cusp of really getting to a fully accessible AAA library on any device.
You know what? We're going to kind of need that in the near future, because you ain't going to be able to buy a fucking GPU for years. And I'm dead serious on this thing. Like, I do not think that the supply problem with GPUs and scalping, especially, countries are banning crypto mining at this point too. It's going to be years before you can get yourself a reasonably priced graphics card. Mm-hmm. Cloud gaming, if they were able to turn on cloud gaming and get this shit to work the right way and make it reasonable as far as like pricing is concerned, so you don't need to have a GPU anymore, you just need to have a processor that can handle, essentially the internet, because you're streaming. Fuck, dude. I mean, there's your golden ticket. If you can do that the right way.
Yeah, I think there's still a bit of ways though to figure out the latency. I think there's a couple of things here, right? When we talk about cloud gaming, and we'll just go on this side tangent really quick, because I do think that this is an important piece to what Microsoft is doing, right? Yeah. The spirit of cloud gaming is definitely there. A long time ago, we talked about playing Control on the Switch, which was through cloud servers. Yeah. And to me, it was flawless. But they also had controls where you can accommodate for latency in your controls. I think where certain things, though, you still will have issues are things like Call of Duty, like online gaming. Will suffer from some of the latency issues that we see with cloud gaming today. So I think we're close though, and I definitely see us having a better experience in our lifetime for sure.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Stadia failed so that Microsoft could prevail.
Who?
Stadia.
Who's that?
From the Googles?
Oh,
remember that?
That thing that was
still up.
That was good for like a hot second until people realized it sucked ass.
Was it good for a hot second?
It was good before it released.
It was good when it was an idea.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a mixed bag there. That's a mixed bag. But it also does kind of suffer from, not having the IPs licensed as well. So it's like Nintendo's virtual store on the Switch, the virtual console, where it's just like, hey, would you like to play 15 random games that you don't want to play? Instead of our entire library, because licensing is a goddamn spaghetti monster.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think that's kind of where Microsoft's cloud gaming, when it finally does launch, because it's going to happen sooner or later, they are going to have so much of a library that they can just do whatever.
Well, it has already soft launched, right?
Yeah.
You can already on the Xbox Series X play anything in the cloud. So if you have Game Pass, I think it's Game Pass Ultimate, you have access to cloud gaming. Even on the PC. I haven't tried it on the PC yet. Because I don't have a PC that is worthy enough to run it.
You always try to play it on a Mac, and I don't understand that idea. You're like, I want my Mac to work. It's like, it never works, Chris.
Because I own a Mac.
Nobody, stop trying to make Mac a thing.
Android users have been playing Game Pass on cloud gaming through the Android devices. So it's definitely has had a beta soft launch.
Sure. It's been in development for years now. I
Left 4 Dead. I played on I was curious to see how it played on cloud with it being an online game. And I'd say I was 90% satisfied.
What about the other 10%? What was the problem?
The lag. The drops there kind of just sucked for that. And it wasn't all the time. It was very hit or miss. I'd say about 70% of the time I was playing in full speed.
So you're on a fiber connection too, aren't you? At your house?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I'm on a gigabit. So
yeah, and you're still having problems there. So I've never done any sort of cloud gaming like that before. So my big question is like, are you dealing with not only your latency as far as like your ping, like, so like, for instance, you're in a first person shooter, you've got a ping of 150 versus 50, and you can tell the difference there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But are you dealing with that? And then also the latency of the controls as well? So it just kind of adds like a whole new layer on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's primarily like, you can hit a button and it can take about, 8 milliseconds to register.
Yeah. So it just kind of feels like you're kind of like walking slowly through stuff. Yeah. No, I totally understand that.
And then you get frame rate drops here and there.
I'm used to that. I'm an AMD user, so that doesn't bother me.
But I could, like, for instance, though, I'll go and I'll just load up, say, Final Fantasy on cloud gaming, right? Mm-hmm. You can do that's available, right? I do that, and the gameplay's pretty much flawlessly, and I don't really notice any issues that way. So I think there are instances where I think cloud gaming is fine today because you don't see those real big issues, but there's just certain games I think really will suffer from it. Especially I think the online component of cloud gaming and the online component of multiplayer gaming at the same time, you have that extra layer of latency between the two that I think they likely just still haven't figured out how they're going to fix that.
Well, yeah. And, the other thing you got to think about too is that, especially in America, we do not have the broadband infrastructure to make cloud gaming work as seamlessly as it needs to in a lot of areas. Yeah. I think if you're in an urban area, you're probably going to be fine, but I mean, there's still places in this country where they're just like, oh, we have DSL, I mean, it's just like, it blows my mind.
Yeah. They say the average household has 30 megabit service. That's the average household in the US. Fast. And it's not very fast. Right. No. So, it's, I think though, at some point it's going to come down to less about your internet speed once they figure it out and more about the latency and input that you get from peer-to-peer play. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the part. I think eventually it's going to come down because you can deliver lower quality. And here's the thing, right? Like, you have to choose. Do you want to pay more for internet to have higher quality gaming? Sure. Or are you going to stay on the lower end and have your graphics be throttled based on your internet? And so, like, it's going to be a trade-off, just like it is with, do you want to upgrade to the newest system, or are you going to stay on the old system?
I mean, nobody wants a slower connection.
Sure.
I mean, like, the way our world works, like, you just can't have a slow connection anymore. And if you do, I mean, it's, good God. I was at my in-laws over the Christmas holiday, and they have a very slow connection. They don't notice it because they don't do shit, right? With it. My mother-in-law just, she works remotely, but it's all very simple stuff. It's like Zoom and that's it. Done. Good God. Try to load up Netflix or anything on them. Oh my God. It took like a half hour to load up one episode of one show on Netflix, and it was infuriating. I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, I can't survive without, like, once I've experienced like really high speed internet.
Yeah,
like, I just can't. I have zero patience to wait for anything anymore.
No, you don't. It sucks. It does. It was like when you went to, like, back in the day, you go to school and they'd have that dedicated T1 line. You'd be like, this is lightning at my tips of my fingers, and you go home and you'd like try to dial in the modem, and you'd wait like 10 minutes and be like. Cool. This porn is slow.
So, I mean, all right. So talking about this acquisition, right? It gives now Microsoft another arm of amazing titles or franchises, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
We got StarCraft, we got Overwatch, Diablo, which I think, in my opinion, is starting to see a resurgence with Resurrections. Well,
yeah.
I mean, with fans. I mean,
yes, they definitely gained a lot more of fan gratitude. You know, yeah.
Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush, as we talked about earlier. Tony Hawk, which I know is supposed to be coming back again with another remaster of some of the Tony Hawk Underground games, which I think will be great. Sure. And then the Crash Bandicoot. I mean, these are just the things that they've highlighted, but they have so many others, like Guitar Hero. There's so many
the Lost Vikings.
There's so many catalog games that are under the banner of Activision Blizzard that, Game Pass is going to be a freaking monster. And I'm so glad. It
already is a monster too.
It is. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean, it's like they just opened up a new wing to the library. It's not like, here's a couple titles. It's just like, oh, here you fucking go. I mean, like, how is Warcraft going to work on something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
They could probably knock off the fucking subscription with that.
Oh, yeah. That's fair.
Because people are very mad about Warcraft subscription these days.
So with all of these different, franchises and titles, what's insane to think about is post Activision Blizzard acquisition. Microsoft will only encompass 15% of the entire gaming industry
as a whole.
15%. That's it. They'll
know. It feels like they own like 50% of it,
right? But
like, and to hear that stat, I'm just like, really? Like, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. But like, man, it feels. I'm torn between this. It's like I don't know if this is a good thing or not. Like the whole thing, because it's just like I look at giant companies, spending like $69 billion in the drop of a hat, just to pick up this shit. And I'm just like, I've played the game Monopoly before. I see where this goes. And I don't think that I own any property, and I see it and I'm just like, is this actually good? Or, I mean, granted, this whole thing is pending, because you can't just be like, we own you now, here's some money, obviously it has to be approved by a whole bunch of board of directors, has to go through the US government and everything like that to get approved too. But I mean, it's probably gonna be, can't see why it wouldn't be at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I want to be positive about this, but there's like this nagging feeling in the back of my head where it's just like everything's just consolidating slowly into one big fucking mass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think what's interesting to me, and I think about now, is that the ZeniMax acquisition, right? Bethesda.
That was a big one.
And something I've sort of just kind of slowly realized or thought about after that acquisition was, before Bethesda was acquired, ZeniMax / Bethesda was acquired by Microsoft. There was a lot of noise. There was a lot of shit going on around Bethesda and kind of the quality of their work. And Bethesda's always had, sketchy quality of work. That was
still kind of off the heels of Fallout 76 too.
Yeah, the fallout of Fallout 76.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
We gotta start paying those writers.
Yeah, right. The one that's in the corner over there, that is a what is that? A bug. It's a bug over there.
It's a bug. That's Jonathan.
I think that ever since that acquisition, like the chatter and the noise coming out of Bethesda is gone.
Yeah, it's really weird. And I was going to point that out too. It's just like, I don't know. It feels like Obi-Wan Kenobi after like Alderaan gets exploded, where it's just like the voices cried out in pain were suddenly silenced. And I'm just like, I kind of like the silence,
Yeah. But It's an interesting observation after I reflected on this, thinking about this acquisition, and to again think about the exact question you just raised is this a good thing? And I think time will tell, but I think some of the things that we may find out in the next year before the acquisition completely goes through with Activision Blizzard, because it's going to probably take about 18 months. Sure. We'll see some of the output from Bethesda before this acquisition goes through. And I think,
will we?
Yeah, we will. Starfield this year. We're supposed to see Starfield this year.
Are we going to see a trailer at some point?
No. Do
we even know what Starfield's about?
Well, yeah, there's been some materials that have been released about it, and they've been talking about it, and supposedly it's coming to Game Pass day one, not a surprise.
Day one, to be determined.
Yeah. But no, there's been a lot of
isn't it just Skyrim in space?
I mean, that's what people are hoping for.
Okay. Well, I mean, I remember seeing like a 45-second trailer that they announced like a couple months ago, was it? And I remember just being like the cockpit of like a spaceship, and I was just like, okay, like cool, nothing here,
Yeah. Well, we're supposed to see it in November 11th in 2022.
Okay, let's see if we make it that far.
Basically the initial release of it. My understanding is they're basically going to release this as a early. Let's see. It's announced at the Xbox Bethesda Games Showcase. Starfield arrives exclusively on Xbox Series X and PC on 11/11/22.
So do you think that a lot of the internet's been all up in arms now? Is COD going to be an exclusive?
I doubt it. I don't know. I mean, maybe 5 years down the road, but I don't even see that then, because Call of Duty is a cash cow, and you're not going to want to turn off the faucet on that cash cow.
Well, and I think exclusivity in gaming is pretty fucking stupid in the first place,
Yeah, but
I understand, but it's still stupid.
Yeah, I mean, but that's Sony's game, right? Like Sony's been playing that game for a long time, and the only way any other system can play that game is they do the same thing.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I've kind of like, stayed away from Sony in a lot of instances, where it's just like, yeah, there are some games that I want to play, but the last Sony console I bought was PlayStation 3, and I was just like, there's only like one or two exclusive games that I want to play. It's not enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think though, like where Microsoft is really headed and it kind of fairly evident, right, in the most investor relations call, right, that the Microsoft CEO was talking about, the acquisition and really, their plan here is primarily to bring as many Activision Blizzard games to the Game Pass service as they can.
Oh yeah.
From their catalog, right? So it's not just like the ones that we just talked about, like off the surface, but we're talking about their catalog, which is gigantic. Like, I could see like all the original Tony Hawk games getting dumped on a Game Pass at some point, or anything Activision ever put out, and there's just so much there, and there's so many good games that it's going to be interesting to see how they sort of roll that in.
Well, and they're also talking about just saying like, hey, we want to put Overwatch on a mobile platform too, stuff like that, where it's just, I mean, I guess you could do that, but it's just so interesting to see where the industry is going as a whole. And I mean, like one of the things they said that when they purchased this, Spencer said that the acquisition is not about short-term results, but rather what's coming down the pipeline from Activision Blizzard. And to me, my ears went up when I read that. Wait, does that make sense? Yeah. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, it's just like piqued my interest because it's just like, okay, what is coming down the pipeline with Blizzard? I mean, you know, you have your Diablo 4 that's coming, you have your Diablo Immortal. I would be so surprised if they weren't doing anything with StarCraft. You know, there's no reason for that to not do anything with that. It'd be cool if it would be really fucking cool if Microsoft is like, you know what, StarCraft Ghosts, we're gonna do it. You've already got, you know, some groundwork laid there. We're gonna finish up this game and you guys can finally play it. Oh man, that'd be so fucking cool. But I don't know, man. There's always rumors about Blizzard doing more MMOs and stuff like that. I don't know if the market's really for it or if they want to take a chunk out of Warcraft. But you know, they might be able to get some of the Warcraft veterans back that have left because, I mean, that game's a shit show at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them trying to bring back like things like Hero of the Storm and Overwatch.
Heroes is dead.
Well, I mean, like redo it, like, you know, kind of like a Realm Reborn did.
They did already. They legitimately already did that.
No, I understand that, but I guess what I'm getting at is, you know, using Microsoft's customer pipeline to fuel that.
That would be cool.
Game Pass.
Because HOTS Heroes of the Storm, that is a fun MOBA. That is a well done MOBA, and it does not get anywhere near the fanfare it should get, in my opinion.
Yeah, like when I dabbled in it for a bit, like I felt like I was like, okay, this I can get down with this, but then, you know, kind of just like, you know, fizzled out. But
yeah, they're just like, we're not doing this anymore. It's like, okay.
I think though there are definitely things that they can do, but don't forget, it's not just Blizzard now, right? This is also Activision. So you have things like, you know, can we see more Crash games, right? Crash Bandicoot games. Mm-hmm. Not everybody likes that series, but you know, I think it's
okay.
It's a resurgence. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Okay. That was a good series. You have the James Bond series. You have,
I think James Bond is still up in the air. I don't think
acquisition.
No. I from last I heard, I thought that IP was still up in the air. Like nobody really owned it at this point.
Oh no, it's still Activision. So
Activision still has it?
Technically, Activision still has the rights to Bond as a game.
Oh.
But the IP that was 007, like GoldenEye and such
or something.
That has rolled back out into the abyss.
Oh, okay.
I could see them try to bring Guitar Hero back, right?
Yeah, I fucking love Guitar Hero. Although I do not like games that I have to buy accessories for. As an adult, I'm just like, this is annoying. Understood.
And that's fair. I mean, that's totally understood.
Yeah.
I could see them thinking about Heavy Gear. Heavy Gear was a very popular series.
I forgot about that.
Heavy Gear that Activision did. Now I know their rights to that lapse, but you know, they could potentially, you know, reinvigorate that back.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think there's just there are things that they can pull out from the vault to say, yeah, we're gonna bring this back. But then at the same time, it's, you know, there's Star Wars is and Disney are open to other ideas of people doing things. And so I think Activision has a good arm with some of the games that they do to potentially do a Star Wars game. I think there's several opportunities here. I think Microsoft just has to figure out how they want to leverage the Activision, video game arm.
Oh yeah, and I think, you know, honestly, I think they're going to do a good job with it. I can't imagine that they wouldn't, because they haven't given me any reason to think that they're not solid at this point. You know, Granted that could change, but so far, I mean, just with the example of Bethesda, you know, just kind of like, yeah, well, maybe they got their shit together, and you know, they seem very aware of Bobby Kotick and the environments that has been, you know, festering at Blizzard for a long time. And I mean, people still look to Blizzard as just like that place. You know, it's almost like there's something about Blizzard. It's like maybe it's the polish that they put in their games, stuff like that. But like, it kind of feels like Disneyland for adults. You know what I mean? It's very strange. So it's always up on this kind of weird pedestal. Yeah. Maybe that's just in my mind, but it always feels like it's on a pedestal. And like, if they can just get that work environment back to where it needs to be, man, they could pump out some shit that's just fantastic all the time, you know?
Yeah. You know what's really interesting to me too, and something I just realized is, part of the Activision arm is kind of this little mighty company called Toys for Bob. You might not have heard of them.
I have not. I don't know what that is.
But I'm sure you've heard of their games. So Skylanders, all the Skylanders that were made. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Skylanders. I remember seeing those toys everywhere, and I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah. And they also did the remake for Spyro. So
that was a good remake.
Yeah.
That was actually really pretty decent.
And then they released the new Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
Sure, Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. I mean, it's a very beloved series.
For a select few.
Exactly.
There's literally dozens of us.
I mean, I like Crash Bandicoot. Like, I'm totally cool with it. Yeah. Raven Software. So
still around.
Yeah, and so they're there's part of the ID like software family, right?
Yeah.
So that's Quake, Wolfenstein.
I love Quake.
Quake's fun.
That was like my first experience in like multiplayer gaming as a kid. That was some good shit.
So there's another segment of games by Radical Entertainment. Now, again, you personally probably don't play any of these games, but there are people that do.
Not everyone.
But Destiny,
Destiny.
They supported the Bungie team on developing Destiny, the first one, Prototype.
There could be a Prototype 3 now.
Yeah.
The internet will not shut the fuck up about that today.
I know. Well, they got canceled in 2012, Prototype 3. So maybe they bring that back.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, I think there is certainly a good raw amount of like expansive games that Microsoft can tap into with all these studios.
Yeah, I think it would be insane to think otherwise. I mean, it's just they got the ammunition. They have the delivery network. I mean, it would be hard to fail at this point from their perspective. You know, I mean, like, it makes sense that they're going to dump half of their annual earnings into purchasing this. They're going to make it up in probably less than 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then after that, it's fucking gravy. You know, I mean, it makes total, complete sense. So
absolutely. Yeah. But so the gigantic elephant coin thing. Elephant in the room. That's a coin, whatever. Forget it.
The bison dollar in the room.
Yeah. Is this deal could still end up being blocked.
It could. There could be some antitrust issues that pop up. Yeah. I mean, if I'm thinking of my bird law correctly, but I don't know. I really don't see it being blocked. You know, it's a ton of money, which is why everybody's just like, whoa, hold on a second. But I mean, in the corporate world, is it a ton of money? I mean, we're not talking about a small company in the first place. You know, a whale is literally devouring another whale, you know. But I mean, like, when it comes down to it, you know, the stat that you rattled off earlier, we were saying, which is like, this is only 15% of the gaming market, you know, as far as like IPs are concerned. Or I guess, was it IPs or was it like companies?
Total gaming revenue.
Gaining revenue.
Yeah, and
You know.
yeah, and that's actually an important distinction, right? Of the total gaming revenue, 15%, and that is with the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, right? And they'll still be behind Sony and Tencent. So I do feel like this is not one that would end up getting blocked, but it's not impossible for it to be blocked.
It truly is not impossible, but I mean, like, given our current political climate, because I'm going to assume the US has to do with this and not, other countries. Given our current political climate, I think they're going to be a-okay.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fine.
It'll be fine if Activision Blizzard's current CEO, Bobby Kotick, ends up going away.
Yeah, but like to come full circle, he's already got that golden parachute packed up, ready to go, and he could fade off into the sunset and be fine. But there is something to be said about people like him, though, because like obviously there is a hole in their soul that can never be filled, which is why he's still going to get $338 million and still probably be pretty fucking unhappy. There's something about people like that. It's just like dragons sitting on a hoard of gold, never satisfied. And if there's anything else we can get out of this, is that Bobby will never be satisfied.
Did you just have a Dragon's Lair reference there? Is that what you're referencing, or were you just not purposely referencing anything?
Yes.
I sense a little hesitant of that. Yes.
I never played Dragon's Lair. I've only seen other people play it.
Okay.
I couldn't get into it. I couldn't do those LucasArts games back in the day like that. It was just like, I'm watching a cartoon. It's like, I didn't understand it.
Well, I mean, I think the good news is, I was keeping an eye on the news outlets, and there's been a lot of talk that, after the investor relations call that happened the other day, there has been quote unquote rumors that Kotick is expected to step down shortly after the acquisition is officially completed.
And you know what, too? I couldn't see with his reputation, public reputation.
Yeah.
That Microsoft would be like, yeah, stay on. He's probably going to step down, get his severance, just go. And that's just going to fade off into the sunset.
Yeah. His severance. It'll net him over $380 million.
Yeah, fucking insane.
Severance. I mean, what kind of severance? That's like you can fucking retire.
Okay, yes, you can retire on way less than that. But I don't know. I mean, it's one of those situations where it's just like, yeah, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can really say. He's just gonna, if he hasn't been gotten rid of at this point, he's not going to be getting, he's not going to be kicked out by the board of directors of Activision or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is at this point. It's sad. It sucks, but what are we going to do? So,
yeah. So I have a very interesting question for you.
Go for it.
If you got on, say, a conference call with Spencer.
Yeah.
And you had two things to request of him.
Okay.
Of what can come out of this acquisition. You as a consumer, what would you tell him?
Oh, fuck. That's a really hard question. Oh, God.
So how about I
yeah, you go. Let me think about this. Two is a lot. I'm a simple man.
And if you want to make it one, you can make it one.
I might.
But I was thinking about it in two ways. One, from a business perspective, and number two, of a greedy gamer. So
Okay.
one, from a business perspective, I want you to clean house of the garbage and make this monstrosity that used to be a powerhouse in this industry, Activision and Blizzard, actually two powerhouses in one, in this industry, make them whole again. Make them the companies we knew they once were, and ones that develop games that people want to play and play like they're supposed to. And number two,
did you forget?
No. Release Diablo 4 already.
Well, I mean, that's didn't we say something about that? Isn't that happening at some point?
It is. It is. It is. But what I really want is them to, I want Blizzard to get fixed. I want Blizzard so badly to get fixed.
I would say that's, to not to take the easy way out here, but you're number one there. Just clean house at Blizzard, fix that place up and make it a smooth running machine again, and make some goddamn people happy that have given so many of us so many hours of enjoyment.
And honestly, keep people employed.
Yeah. There's enough money to go around. If you can drop 69 billion, a drop of a hat, don't fucking tell me you can't pay your employees living wage.
Yeah.
Well, I think they pay a living wage, but I mean, you can pay them fucking more.
Is there a game series that you wish? Let's omit Diablo, and I'll omit Diablo from my last. But is there a game series, or is there a franchise that you would either like to see come back?
Oh yeah, no, I know already.
Okay,
like I said before, StarCraft Ghost.
So for the audience who don't know what StarCraft Ghost is, can why don't you go ahead? I'll give you the opportunity to kind of describe it for these folks.
Okay, so there's a character class, or I guess a character unit in the Terran campaign, which is humans in the StarCraft universe, called a Ghost. And they were a stealth unit. They were meant for recon. They had long range, high damage, slow recharge. But the thing about them is they would cloak, and the Terrans had a very unique ability in order to build nuclear silos and house nuclear missiles. And you would use the Ghost in order to sneak into enemy bases, cloak up, and drop a nuke, like on their supply line, stuff like that. And it was kind of stupid. Didn't really like in professional play, like you barely ever see nukes dropped or anything like that because they're just hard to do. But it was just so fucking cool, So anyway, what this game was it was a new character that was a ghost, the character named Nova, and it was from her perspective, and it was going to be kind of like an espionage, kind of Metal Gear Solid type, third person over the shoulder kind of camera view of the StarCraft universe. And you were this ghost Nova, and there wasn't a lot of game story details that were ever released from anything that I've seen, but it was just like it was going to be espionage missions. The universe itself has a ton of background lore about like warring factions within the Terrans, and of course you have the Zerg and the Protoss that come in and out of that. So it's like they could literally do like anything with it. But the interesting part of it was just like you are no longer a commander in the sky. You are on the ground, and like that's what a Protoss cannon looks like. This is what a command center looks like, able to interact with these things. And it's just, it had the promise of being very cool. Anyway, how about you?
So I want to see a true remaster, remake, or good like third game or third rendition
thrice of
Star Wars Jedi Knight Outcast.
Oh, Jedi Outcast. So
yes.
from Outcast to Academy, and then the third one being whatever.
Yeah.
That would be fucking cool.
I want a successor so bad. At the very least,
Yeah.
a true remaster of those games.
That would be really cool. And you know what? They could update the controls a little bit too on the lightsaber fighting too.
They already have.
Oh, they have? I'm sure modders have done that.
Yes, no. On the Switch, the controls have been updated.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, so they've updated them slightly, not completely, but the mapping has been kind of fixed.
Oh, okay.
I say fixed. I mean better.
Well, like that game was really weird because it was like the only game I've ever played where it felt like I was actually dueling with a lightsaber, but it also felt like I wasn't at the same time. It was very strange because it was like the game kind of played itself, but there's inputs that you could do that made sense. It was almost kind of like like in Zelda, like when Ocarina of Time came out, where like all of a sudden it's just like forward and A, you'll do a front slash, stuff like that. Whereas like there's different move sets to it, almost like a fighter, but it wasn't at the same time. It's kind of what Jedi Outcast and Academy felt like, but it was awesome, but it also kind of felt janky to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was good for the time. I think
it's wonderful. Yeah,
I think it was overall it was a great game when it came out. I think I would love to see a reimagination of the game, or if they don't want to do it that way, like just create a new game. Like, because if they can't get the licensing to remaster, I mean, it might be hard to do that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But do a new Jedi Outcast. Why not? Like, I think we need, from a Star Wars IP perspective, I know there's a few games out there in the works, but I feel like this is something that could easily be taken on by the 900, game studios that Microsoft owns.
By one of the 900 game studios. No, probably right.
I mean, give it to Vicarious Visions. Like Vicarious Visions, man, they just knock shit out of the park, man.
They are very good at their job.
They are
very, very good.
They're very good at ports, and they're very good at remasters.
Yeah. Have you seen that they're actually going to update Diablo? Like they're actually updating the game now.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Like they're actually putting in new patches. Like they're rebalancing spells and everything.
Wow. Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
I thought that game was like, they're done.
No. They're adding new rune words. They're doing different ladder progressions.
Wow.
Don't quote me on the ladder stuff, but I think that's what they're doing. But anyway, like they're actually rebalancing a lot of the classes in order to get like a martial arts assassin. They're changing how it works. It's just like, wow, did not expect that whatsoever.
And by the way, something to note, like Vicarious Visions, they did the I'm pretty certain, I'm looking right now, I'm pretty certain they did the Jedi Outcast Xbox port. Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. So, okay. So the game was developed by Raven Software. So again, king of the ports. The game was developed by Raven Software, and the Xbox and GameCube versions were done by Vicarious Visions.
Oh, no shit.
So
yeah, I kind of like them. I love them.
That's what I'm saying. I think this is like they got to do it. They got to do it. But
yeah,
I agree with you on the StarCraft Ghost thing. I was kind of very disappointed that that got pushed and kind of canceled out, because I thought that had a making of a really good opportunity.
It sure did.
I don't know,
dude. But you know what? StarCraft's changed a lot since then, because like now they're like very hyper realistic, like the StarCraft 2 engine. Like, it's all very detailed and things are like more to scale in certain areas. Like, oh man, could you imagine what that would look like today with a little bit of a new art direction? Fuck.
It could look pretty sweet, man.
It could look fucking sweet.
All right. Any other closing thoughts about Microsoft acquisition, $68 billion of this pending purchase of Activision Blizzard?
We will look at their career with great interest and hope it goes well. I'm tentatively excited for things to be righted or come back to like a sense of normalcy as far as like Blizzard is concerned. So yeah. I normalcy for normal people, not normalcy for Blizzard, because normalcy for Blizzard is like, hey, would you like to come to our frat party? But you know, the Cosby suite.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, and we're not. But just look it up. You all will be just like, wow, that happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. How about you?
Bud? I am a big fan of it. I'm excited, especially as somebody who converted over from PlayStation to Xbox this generation, and investing in Game Pass. Honestly, I'm getting to the point now where, dare I say it, I may not have to buy very many games anymore.
And you know what? It doesn't matter, because if you're paying a monthly subscription, they're actually getting more money off of you than they would with you buying 2 games a year, you know?
Yeah.
That's the game.
Yeah.
Get that monthly subscription. That's why they've been pumping WoW for so long.
But that's the thing, right? Like, I think Game Pass is worth it. And if it's worth it, it's awesome. It's absolutely worth it, right? Yeah. Like there's games on Game Pass that I would have never thought to play. Oh, sure. One last thing though.
What?
Ubisoft Plus.
Okay.
Is supposed to come to Game Pass. To Xbox. Yeah.
I can't say I've ever I've played a lot of Ubisoft games. This is Assassin's Creed, right?
So Assassin's Creed, we have, some of the newer ones
Splinter Cell, right?
Like the Division, Rainbow Six games. I mean, Watch Dogs, Prince of Persia.
Yeah. That's basically all of them.
Yeah. I mean, it is just crazy amount of games that they're responsible for. Oh, Far Cry.
Oh, sure. The thing about this that might be really great too is like, in our current world where it's just like, here's a subscription to Netflix, here's a subscription to this and this and this and this and this. Somebody is eventually going to come along and be like, hey, here's one price for all this shit. And it's kind of looking like that's what the Xbox Game Pass is doing right now. Or at least moving towards it. Yeah. And you know what? That's going to be a winning model.
Thanks for listening to our most recent episode of Uneducated Gamers. You can go to Galaxy Game TV to post comments on each of our episodes, or if you have a question or a topic you would like us to include in an episode, feel free to leave a comment. Until next week, we bid you farewell.